Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. Today's the last day, the very last day. At midnight tonight, you will no longer be able to get the $1 for 12 months to the Athletic. It's our Black Friday deal / Cyber Monday deal. It's the best deal you'll get all year. If you're curious about the Athletic, it's an easy way to check it out. It's $1. Just $1. Come on. Easy way to support. And you can support our podcast too. theathletic.com /down2dunk. You can also listen to the show without ads, which is a great way to listen to the show, I think. And with me today, as always, on Monday, is Michele Berra. Michele, what's up?
Well, this week I started a new diet with my wife. We only eat vegetables, and so if I say something very stupid or I get angry, I will blame the food. This is only for a week, but I'm already in need of carbs, meat, fish, whatever.
Yeah, so, only vegetables. Wow.
Yes.
No, watermelon is a vegetable.
Like no peas, no like no beans.
No beans.
No beans. No, just fruit and greens and like not too many carrots and potatoes. That is, I don't know.
What are you like? What are you talking about? What are you eating then? It sounds like you're eating nothing.
Exactly, water mainly.
Wow. Oh no. More oh no's. Have you heard much about what's going on in Oklahoma, Michele, with regards to the football teams?
Yes, I heard that something very crazy happened, that like no one leaves Oklahoma football, but like the coach of OU left. Is that right?
Yeah, he's gone. It's big news. Big news here. You got any ideas for replacements? Alex Spears is one to know.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Like, I have no idea. I probably can't name another like NCAA football coach.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the one of OSU, but I don't think that will work.
Yeah, no, that won't work. It's not going to work. Oh man, as an Oklahoma State alumni, I can't get enough of these stories. It's been just maybe the best college football weekend in my life, and just it's just been fun. Speaking of college sports, the Gonzaga Bulldogs faced off against the Duke Blue Devils over the weekend, and one fascinating great game that those two played. The Blue Devils won 84-81, but even more exciting is that you get Chet versus Paolo, and boy, was it a fun matchup between those two. So I thought it'd be a good time to kind of break down both of those guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys that listen to this are familiar with both of them, but I thought we could just kind of break down their games a little bit and discuss what they can and can't do, how they would fit with OKC, all of that. So let's start with the number one pick, which will presumably be the number one pick unless something changes. Paolo Banchero from Duke. He's a forward. He is crazy strong, crazy skilled, and kind of showcased all of that against Gonzaga.
Yeah, to be honest, like full disclaimer, I watched probably 30 minutes of Paolo and 1.5 games of Chet. So for me, it's very early. But let's discuss that first half against Gonzaga, because I mean, when you see a player dominating in that way, against legit defense because Chet was guarding him for the beginning of that first half. Then he had a few fouls, so a few decided to sit him, which I don't know. I have my theories about fouls in the NCAA, but anyway,
I don't.
like the fact that he was comfortable in taking pull-ups from two, from three, either
Please.
like the three ball was either from the dribble or in spot of situation with range. I mean, if you have a 6'10" guy who is, as you mentioned, as strong as hell, he can really play all three levels because even when he gets close to the basket, he seems very comfortable using his body, his shoulders to finish at the rim. And then you see him like toying with the 3-point line in that way.
Yeah.
He was just like so confident. And if you want to find something wrong about Paolo is the defense. I mean, in that game, he was okay. He was just not putting too much attention into that. So to me, like I even text you. Probably it was it Friday or I don't remember. I text you. Close your eyes for a second and imagine Paolo as your starting power forward. Like,
It's Friday.
can you imagine? Like, he's such a natural fit for what OKC is doing. Of course.
Yeah,
that would be crazy.
Yeah, because the Thunder lack like another like really good score is what they lack. Like they've got like the passing, the connected tissue players, like they're all ready to go. You have Giddy and JRE. You have Dort, who's becoming like a better connector as well. Shea is already that. And right now, Dort, and like let's be clear, like he's doing a really good job. But if Lou Dort is your second leading scorer, you have some making up to do in the scoring department.
Yeah.
You add a guy like Paolo to this kind of team, like boom, like Dort's your third scorer or your fourth scorer now, depending on how Giddy develops. And you give Josh somebody like a real legitimate target, like cutting, and like the fit would be seamless. You could put him next to JRE, both like really strong guys. Neither of them are that big, but if you can get Paolo to commit to the defensive end, which if he plays for Mark, like you have to, like you just have to. You don't. It's not a choice whether you commit on the defensive end or not. It's either you play or you don't. But you're going to commit to the defensive end. Then you're talking like real switchy. You can score from multiple places on the court. You still lack shooting. Like that's the only thing about that lineup where you're just like,
it depends. It depends. It depends on a few things, which is like if Giddy is your only real non-shooter.
Yeah. I mean,
like
I understand that, but I mean, like you lack somebody where it's like the ball swings to them and there's panic on, for the defense.
Oh yes,
I mean,
but there will be.
The Thunder don't have that guy.
Not on the move, but like if you have, like imagine like switching a guy that can shoot the basketball, even not like a premier shooter, instead of Bazley, which like defenses are just not going to guard.
No.
That will change spacing dramatically because on Dort, they are already closing out. They are not leaving him.
Yeah, no, they're not leaving him. They're not going to leave him for long either.
Exactly.
However, they're not going to panic when it swings to him.
Yeah, but like, yes, okay, I agree. If that is, yes, but it's enough to have two players on which you panic. And Shea and if it's Paolo, it's Paolo. They will panic when the ball swings and they are open.
Yeah. Now I like what they're building. I enjoy watching this team. I mean, like I just flat out enjoy watching this Thunder team.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that they lack, but you can feel this team is ready to have somebody plug in. I think I've been thinking about Boston lately because like the way that Boston was set up is not dissimilar to the way that OKC is set up right now. Back in the day where it was like, oh, they have this like tons of picks coming. they've got these players, these like really nice like blue chip players, and like all they need to do is like add just a few more pieces. And they never really developed like a system there.
Mhm.
Have like right now they have 0 point guards. Really, I mean Schroeder is there, but Schroeder's not. I mean Schroeder's not like a point guard. He's like a scoring guard. Uh,
Yes.
and then everybody else is like has very specific skills. Where it's and the problem with Boston right now is like everybody plays very selfishly. Well, it's because they don't have anybody to really spray the ball around.
Mhm.
And the Thunder have like multiple guys that I feel are ready to take that. And it's also why I look at this upcoming draft and think about how important it was that they drafted Giddey in this draft. Because if let's say they drafted Kaminga and you head into the next draft and you got lucky and got the number 1 pick, talent through the roof. But do you have do you have a sustainable like offensive identity with those guys? It just feels like if you had SGA, Kaminga, Dort, Bunkero, it's like that fit is just weird,
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it is.
it doesn't feel cohesive. Now, perhaps that group that I just named could end up being the more talented group. Like there's a
Mhm.
chance that that happens, but you'd have to really try to figure it out to make it work. The fact that they got a lead guard in Giddey in this draft, and Vicini was talking on his pod about this, how there's really no lead guards in this next draft.
Mhm.
And like the best lead guard is like you have to kind of squint your eyes to see if it's a real lead guard. Like I think it's just so important that they did that because it helps shape the identity of what they want to be, you know. And it also like to me, the more I think about it and the more I look at this team, they were never drafting Kaminga. Like that was never I bet you that was never on the table.
No, and I wonder how
I bet
much the
you he
book
was
night thing was real as
no,
well.
no, there's no way they draft Book Knight. Like there's just no way. Book Knight can't get off the bench in Charlotte.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no way they were going to draft either one of those guys. I think that it was either going to be Giddey or Barnes or Mobley. That's what I think.
Mhm.
I think it was going to be those guys.
Yeah, and they knew that that was an option on their table. They were, but even Suggs, I think that with Jalen Suggs, we have to wait. I know that has been
Definitely.
bad, but at least I mean he's maybe the sitting. We are kind of seeing some like you can see it there. I mean, it's not far in the future. Like, yeah, he may not be, he may not end up being a scorer in this league, but still defensively he has some tools and he
Mhm.
still compete. So if you know that whoever drops between Giddy, Suggs, Barnes, and Mobley is fine with you,
Yeah.
then
Hmm.
no one else is need to be really in the discussion, right?
Yeah, I mean, their evaluation may have been, listen, like we'd like to have Jalen Suggs, but the difference between Josh Giddey and Jalen Suggs to us is minuscule.
Yeah.
It's like we're not giving up 2 first rounders to get Jalen Suggs. Like we're not doing
Yes.
that. Maybe we'd give up 1, and then the Magic are like, no way, we're not doing that. And it's like, okay, well the choice is easy.
Yes.
Now the conversation with Toronto may have been different because there were even rumors on draft night that the Thunder were trying to get a deal done with Toronto, and
Yeah.
my guess is to get Scotty Barnes.
Yeah.
Like the difference between Giddey and Scotty Barnes, well, defensively the difference is massive, you know,
Mhm.
and offensively they're very different players. But there's a lot more in Scotty Barnes' bag than we thought, and that matters. It matters a lot. Um, let's talk Chet a little bit because I think the fit with Moncaro is like seamless. One, he's a
Mhm.
great scorer, he's a good passer, he can grab the ball and push. That's something that we talk about a lot is how they want guys that can just grab the ball off the rim
Yes.
and run with it. He can do that. He offensively, he's pretty much everything you would want out of a power forward. And hit step back threes. He can, hit stuff off the dribble. He can do everything. So yeah, he's pretty easy number 1 pick there. Chet Holmgren is complicated in so many ways and
He's
exciting
different.
in many ways. He's different. That's what's so hard about evaluating him. And the thing that I think about though when I watch both of them is like, you know who would fit next to both of those guys is JRE. Like
Yeah.
he can fill the role of whatever the other guy can't. Now, maybe with Boncaro, you wish that Jerry was like 3 inches taller, to
Yes.
compete with him.
And a little bit more of a shot blocker.
Yes, but
But you
with
just play a different kind. Like
yeah,
it's not necessarily true that what Jerry is right now is future on the
without a
defensive end.
doubt, without a doubt, yeah,
So I'm not saying that he will necessarily grow 2 or 3 inches in the summer, but maybe he will leverage more about his athleticism, his timing. Like blocking shots is something important, but Draymond Green was never a lead in
no, never,
shot blocking, but he knows how to protect the rim. He knows how to put his body into the offensive layer in order to deter the shot. Like
yep,
all those things. I mean, yes, Draymond had this mean demeanor from the beginning. He was going after your lunch every single time and the dinner. Um, Maybe Jerry is not that, but I've seen him switch on James Harden and being very, very effective.
hmm
So you can build a successful defense that is switch heavy. Now, you really need to have someone that can be effective against a big guy. And Draymond is. Like if you put Joel Embiid on Draymond Green, he will make him work the entire night.
yeah,
He may win the one-on-one battle, but in the end, you he will probably lose the game against Golden State. And so if Jerry reaches that level, then even if he's not a shot blocker, it can work anyway.
yeah. Having Chet next to JRE, I mean, he could average 2.5 blocks a game. Like
Yeah,
that could be a thing where it's kind of similar to like Perk and Surge, and in a different way, where like Perk was just like this like solid like positional like quarterbacking the defense, and then Surge was just kind of your like freelancer, shot blocker, clean things
yeah,
up. You funnel things to him, and Chet would be the
yeah,
same in the NBA for sure. Um,
yeah.
because
You
he's
use
not
the right
a big guy.
word there, funneling. Like that pick and roll defense between Tabo and Perk was special because they were able to basically take out all the options
Yep.
besides getting at the rim
Mhm.
with a certain angle, and then Surge was there.
Mhm.
Like that was a special defense. And right now, probably the floor is a little bit more spread, so it's harder to do that. They used to cheat on the 3 pointers on the opposite corner way more than what they do.
Mhm.
But still, you're right. Put a guy like Jerry and a guy like Dort in a pick and roll defense and have Chet just being there.
Yeah.
Drop him or use him as a weak side defender, and yeah,
Yeah.
that length is something. I mean,
And you can see
we're all
this
scared about the
playing with
weight.
Timmy, they kinda do that in
Mhm,
Gonzaga a little bit.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jerry, you can argue that Jerry will be a better defender than Timmy for his entire life. So no,
Yeah.
Timmy's not horrible, but he's not a good defender.
Yeah.
If he were, like we were talking about, like a much better prospect.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. So Chet, I mean, he's got it all, but like the thickness. He gets bodied by guys, and I know that like the stuff that sticks out to people is going to be, Boncaro going right at his chest and moving him and finishing, with his right hand there at the rim.
Mhm.
Like I think that probably sticks out in everybody's mind with regards to what are we, what are we going to do with regards to, picking one or two. I think that you could just show that clip and be like, okay, that settles it. Like that's all I need to see. But the ceiling is so high with Chet, and if you believe in the development that can happen in Oklahoma City, like you have to be pretty tantalized with it because like the shot looks good. The timing on shot blocking is there.
Mhm.
He's got a lot to clean up. Still defensively, he's got a lot to clean up. He leaves his feet way too much,
Yeah.
especially when closing out. Like he's got enough length where he doesn't have to jump every time,
No, you just raise your hand and you already make the contest.
but he jumps too much, and that's and that's something you can clean up. Like that's something that you can teach. There's a lot of teachable things within just his like core skills that I feel like can be taught. But he can score, and he can score off the dribble. He's great in transition, although the center team doesn't get out in transition all that much. But like you can imagine, like Chet getting out on the break with Giddy, it's like you're toast because those guys are
Mhm.
going to score because Chet has length upon length upon length, and Chet is going to play the power forward center position. With
Yes.
Poku, it's like more a lot. They get compared to each other because they're you know
Skinny. Tall and
skinny
skinny.
white guys. Like that's why they get compared. But Chet's a big, and Poku to me is still a wing. And
Yes.
I mean, just having those guys out on the court together uh, would just be hilarity. Like it would just be
Yeah.
so
So much
crazy
length.
to see so much length. Like, and then they together weigh, you know, less than 400 pounds. It's wild. 7-footers, less than 400 pounds combined, where like Shaq was like pushing that in his final years. It's crazy.
Yeah. I was listening to the telecast, and I think Mike Schmitz at a certain point said that we had all the same discussions about Mobley, about he was too skinny. Will he be able to sustain contacts at the NBA level? I don't think that Mobley was
No,
that skinny
I was gonna say
ever.
he's not this skinny. He was skinny,
Exactly,
certainly, but
he
not
was
like
skinny, and he is clearly extremely impactful at the NBA level, no matter what. Um, So for sure, if you are an elite shot blocker in college and your timing is great and your defensive instincts in terms of where to be, not just being just like the fact that he is jumpy is a problem, but is a correct, like one that you can easily correct with reps.
Mhm.
It's maybe because he wants to get blocks, which is something that a guy that he is born in 2002, is that right? Or 2003?
Um, gosh, why does Sports Reference not have it? Um,
Probably 2002.
I think that is right.
Yeah, I mean, you may want to get some blocks. It's nice, but if you understand like defense in space, which seems
Mhm.
to be the case, then that length will do a lot in the
May
NBA.
1st, 2002.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Chet's 15 pounds lighter than Mobley was in
yeah, which
college.
is not nothing.
No, I mean, look at Poku. Like, would we want Poku to have 15 pounds more? Like,
Yep.
yeah, like we'd take it. We would absolutely take it. Um, Chet is a project though. Like Chet's like I think he's more ready than Poku was day one
Hmm.
to come and play in the league. He's got like definable skills. He's played high level basketball for a really long time. Chet has. He
Yep.
played on like some really good high school teams in Minneapolis with Jalen Suggs. He's played with guys that are good for a long time, and Poku has very little experience playing with good players,
Yeah.
and on good teams and on high level teams. Uh, just the competition in college basketball that Chet's getting this season, I think is going to be really good for him. I still think he's a very modern player. I think he will shoot the three. He hasn't shot it real well. He's not been very good off of spot ups this year. But offensively in every other way, like you go look at synergy and it's excellent, excellent, excellent,
Yeah.
excellent.
And the three will come. Um,
It will come. Yeah.
yeah, there is an history, and there are many things that you can doubt about Chad. Like shooting was not one of them.
No, no, no.
And hey, maybe it will take a while, but the motion seems fluid. I watched him play him against Wembanyama in U19 last summer. It was,
Mm-hmm.
and he was letting it fly with ease. So it's just a matter of like giving it time, and it will be there. I think so. I agree. He's a project, but nevertheless, I mean, you have someone that can probably impact the defense quite early in his career,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah.
so
I kind of part of me just like really hates the Poku comparison because I don't
mhm.
think it's fair to Chet. You know, in some
So
ways.
it's fair to Poku. Poku is great. What are you talking about?
Well, and here's the deal with Poku as well. Like, we just rush so quickly to what we want him to be.
Yeah,
Like
we
the
did.
day we drafted him, it's funny because the day we drafted him, it's like this is a project that will
Yes.
take a long time to
Yes.
see it come to fruition. We are we're a little bit over the year mark from when the year that they drafted him, like a year away from it, and people are like already just want to be like, well, what's going on? Like, why isn't he playing more minutes? I mean, if you were to on draft night say, hey, listen, in his second year, he's playing off the bench. He's playing about 15-ish minutes off the bench
Hmm.
and contributing, and he's learning and he's getting better. I think on draft night we'd be like, cool, that's great. That
Yes.
sounds like good progress for him. But we look at it now and we're like, man, like why isn't he playing more? Like he should be starting, he should be doing this, like this should be happening for him. But when the Thunder signed up to take Poku, it was like he's gonna be a long-term project.
Yeah.
He's 2 years away from being 2 years away kind of thing.
Yes.
And I do think he's making progress and we're seeing that with him, but I think we need to give him more time without a doubt. Hey,
Yeah, I agree. And to me, one of the issues that I discussed it with John, and I probably will talk a little bit more about that in one of the next question of the days and stuff like that, is I think that putting him in a box is wrong, but giving him playing time with guys that are clearly better than him
yeah.
would, I think it's helpful for him. It would be helpful to see, well, look, you can be the starting power forward if you hit your trees, you play good defense, and you freestyle a little bit.
Mhm.
And I think that there is, I mean, I don't think he would be bad in that role because he is a quick trigger tree. So he could work perfectly with Giddy and Shea. Now, if he keeps being like a sub 30%, it doesn't really matter. But I think that if you give him clean shots and you play him more into a system where you have better guys around him, I think that could work.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think absolutely. I don't know that we'll see it this season.
Hmm.
I just don't know that we will. Because I do think and as long as Bazley's on the team, I think they will continue to give it to him because I do think that they like the way he competes on defense
Hmm.
and they like the way that he holds up against bigger players on
Hmm.
defense. And strength wise, I think Poku is not where they want him to be yet.
Hmm.
And I think that they want to bring that on slowly, which is okay. I mean, Poku is really a thread the needle type of situation where it's like if we don't do this correctly, it's he's going to be out of the league, kind of thing.
Yeah, I
And
still will try to run him a little bit. Like I threw the idea. Okay, you don't want him to start. Fine, that is that is okay. That is something that doesn't need to be there necessarily. But what if Bazley is the first guy that goes to the bench and you play 2-3 minutes of Shea, Giddy, Dort, Poku, and Jerry? Just 2-3 minutes. And then you start with your rotation, your usual rotation. You put back Bazley in, that he may get a longer run against the second unit guy, maybe with Mike Muscala, that can help giving him space. And hey, maybe the point is, if we do that, we will win more games. Therefore, we are not doing that, and that's completely fine. But to me, it makes sense to at least try to give Poku a little bit of run with Shea, Giddy, and Dort.
yeah, no, I think so too. Also, just for selfishly, just for my viewing pleasure, I would like for that to happen.
Exactly, mine too. Mine too. I have to wake up very early to watch the Thunder. So please,
Yeah,
coach, please make that happen.
come on, Mark. you're listening, Mark, please make this happen. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. And we're back from that quick break. Michele, the Thunder play the Rockets twice this week. And the Rockets are on a little streak of their own. They've won twice in a row.
Wow.
They're up to 3-16,
Fantastic.
which is great to hear. A lot of that is because their star player, Jalen Green, is not in the lineup. Oh man, like who could have ever thought that the Rockets would get better without Jalen Green in the lineup? And that's fine. Like the truth is, like it doesn't spell anything for Jalen Green's career.
Mm-hmm.
But a high usage rookie who doesn't have any clue what he's doing on defense and is not efficient at all, like taking him away is going to help you. And
Yep.
I think it's actually like pretty good timing for OKC to not to play this Houston team without him. I think he'll still be out this week, and hopefully they don't win both the games. That's kind of
that would be already a win. Like going split the difference, please. Like
give me
1-1.
1-1 with Houston. Like win
Yes.
tonight, lose in OKC, or flip flop that. I don't care. Like let's just make it happen, because that would be a big deal record wise. Then they would be, I think, tied with Orlando, in Detroit. Like that's great. OKC's only won 6 games. They're currently in the reverse standings, are 6th, and they're only half a game
Not
back
bad.
of San Antonio. They are 2.5 games back of New Orleans, Detroit, and then I think like almost 3 full games back of Orlando, Houston, which is that's great. Like they're where they're supposed to be, and they missed some time with SGA. Like they lost all those games. Great.
Cool.
They've lost 5 in a row. They're 3-7 in their last 10. That's where they should be. And that's kind of the mix that they're going to be in all year. So I'm interested to see how they play against this particular schedule, though, because this could be, if they win both the games against Houston, like that's interesting. They get Memphis without Ja on Thursday. They have Detroit on Monday, and then they get Toronto the following Wednesday. We're talking 4 of those or 3 of those teams are below 500. Memphis is right at 500. It's like this is a really soft part of the schedule. And if they win 4 out of 5,
yeah, that's bad.
3 out of the 5, like 3 out of the 5 is not crazy. Like it's not crazy to win Houston twice, and then win one of like Memphis, Detroit, Toronto.
Yeah.
So it's this is kind of one of the bigger stretches for this team with regards to short-term planning. This is you want to lose at least 3 of these games, if not 4, if not all 5. But I don't think they lose all 5.
No, I don't even think they will lose like 3 of them. It's hard. It's hard to lose playing. I mean,
3-5,
if they play like they did against Utah and against the Wizards, they will go
here's
for
one thing, Michele. Here's the one thing is that
there's no Kenrich.
There's no Kenrich Williams. And we're going to see the impact of Kenrich because he comes in and changes things. He changes energy.
Yeah, it depends. It depends who you're playing instead of Kenrich. If you play Ty Jerome, it's not that big of a deal. If you play Theo Maledon like huge minutes, then yes, it will change.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's funny that today one of my friends, Italian friends, put up a picture in our WhatsApp chat about Kemba Walker being like in the like first percentile of guys that are the worst in terms of plus minus on-off rating at minus 27.2 point differential. I said, well, let's see how OKC does in this category. And my eyes were caught by Jalen Green, like minus 32.7, 0th percentile, like the worst of the worst at 550 possession the offense is minus 23 points better when he sits. That seems irrational. The only player that managed to do worse is Facundo Campaso and Jermichael Green, the happy reserve unit from Denver, which is giving nothing to their team. But hey, Jalen Green, not good. So hey, maybe if the Houston's offense is 23 points per 100 possession better, then maybe they can split the difference.
Yeah, they could. And I mean, rookies just typically don't help. I mean, Josh Giddey a minus 13.8 on the season. Like, yeah, that's what rookies do. They lose games. That's what young players do. JRE is a plus 1.4 on the season in 400 minutes. Like that's
it's a cheat code.
It's unusual for them. Trey Mann a -1. Even that's like, oh, okay, well that's not so bad.
Yeah.
Like Poku is still bad, minus 3.2. Lou Dort even, because the starting lineup has really struggled, minus 5.6. Bays minus 10.4.
Yeah.
Daves is minus 12.1. Teo is the worst on the team, minus 17.6. But like those are like normal
Play
bad
more.
Numbers, normal bad.
Yeah.
Kenrich plus 10.7 in 383 possessions. Like that's significant. He has led a lot of comebacks and has been in closing lineups in games that they've won. And so, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see him gone because, like, does that mean more Aaron Wiggins? Like Aaron Wiggins in 103 minutes plus 15.5.
Yeah.
That won't continue. Like that number's too big for him to.
Are you sure, Andrew?
I honestly, when you say that, like, yes, I'm sure. One. Number two, I like Aaron Wiggins.
Yeah, me too.
He can defend. He's got good length. He's pretty smooth on the offensive end.
Yeah, he will shoot it. I'm positive.
Yeah, I like him. I think that he's got some juice to him that I think can help him to play. And also it doesn't hurt him that he's wearing 21, which just makes you think of Andre Robertson. And then you see him out there defending on the wing and you're like, man, like he can. And I don't know if it's the number 21 or the fact that he really can defend, it's probably a little bit of both, but you're just, there's some shades there. And then offensively, like he's no scrub, like he can play.
No, he can play.
I'm a fan of him. I want to see more of him. I hope that's the outcome that we get. And also, like, the fact is, like, he will eventually probably be negative because rookies are negative. And I'd like to see them develop him for a little while because there is a chance that we don't see Kenrich for a little while.
I don't see anyone rushing him back.
They're not rushing him back. Two, the ankle sprain looked pretty brutal.
Yes.
So I think that we will see more of Wiggins. I hope that we get to see more Poku minutes. Experience.
I want to see Trey Mann.
Point Bazley, just do whatever you can. Yeah, Trey Mann. Like I would like to see more Trey Mann and see what he can do because he's competing on the defensive end to the best of his abilities, and he's starting to understand his spots in the offense.
Yeah,
which I think is the thing that he wasn't doing at all when he was in summer league and then to start the season and preseason. Like it was just like he didn't. Like I would be like I'd sit there and see him and see the window for him to get his pull up, and he just wouldn't do it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, but how worried were you?
I wasn't worried. I was just like, what's going on?
It's just a matter of time.
I was more confused than I was worried.
Yeah, confused. But I mean, sometimes you have to adjust. You have to maybe feel it out before like getting into. And to be honest, I read that Mark was happy about the 11 shots. Yes, but 11 is a tad too much.
Oh,
like a few of those seemed a little bit rushed.
You're being a party pooper right there with that comment. You are just, come on. Man.
Yeah, to me, 8 was a good number. Like there were a few that. I mean, I'm glad that Mark said, "Well, I'm so happy." But after the 11th shot, he just benched him and never put him back there. So I'm sure that was like a little bit. The benching was a little bit broccoli, and then he gave him whatever skittle during the press conference, saying, "Well, I benched you because those were very bad shots, but I like the number 11."
Yeah. No, I'm glad because it's showing that he's recognizing like where his shots are.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That hezzy that thing that he made off the dribble, like sending the defender
yeah,
basically 5 feet away. It was
he
the
created like crazy space. And like
yeah,
that's gonna be his skill is like creating space, getting shots. And
yeah.
can he do that consistently? Can he do it effectively? Like that's the question. And we haven't seen enough to be able to know.
Yeah, I
Uh,
would love to see him moving around a little bit more off ball because this is something that Giddy and Shea already struggle, and also Ludort
yeah.
is struggling a bit in like moving without ball. They are getting better. They are trying. I wonder if Treyman can be that guy as well. I mean, the shot will be lethal. He's a very very good shooter. You can tell. I mean, the motion is always the same, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how off balance he is. He's very good at that. Um, but I wonder, can he be the guy who also moves the defense by just like relocating, learn how to relocate? Because I don't think that he will be like, I don't know, 20 minutes per game
Yeah.
ball handling, like being the lead ball handler. So he needs to learn how to move around.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, it's going to be interesting to see how he develops because he's either like a bench role player or he does what you're saying and he can start, like be a starting level player.
Yeah.
And then you also kind of question because Mark said this in the press conference the other night was that they drafted Giddy knowing that they had the point guard slot filled. Like you basically bring in another point guard and then you draft Trey Man and it's like, okay, kind of what's going on here. I
Hmm.
think that they drafted him with the thought of him being like a scorer off the bench,
Yeah.
which I think, you need those guys. Like you need somebody that can come off the bench and give a lift to the offense
Yeah.
and
Change of
just
pace.
a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. And he's different. Like he's a lot different than a lot of the other guys on the team. And is an interesting prospect. It's an interesting team. They're a really fun team to watch. I said that in the first half of the show. Like I really have enjoyed watching them, on a night to night basis
Oh,
and
yeah.
being around them. And I think that it's just a fun squad. And just the thought of having them, grow and the fact that Josh Giddey is this good too. I don't feel like we can talk enough about him
Hmm.
because he really bends the defense with his passing. He is, big enough on the defensive end to cover multiple players. He can really move his feet. I am beyond excited for what the future, looks like for him because if he does figure out the shooting stuff, then I do think that it's possible that I don't know if he ever makes an all-star team, but I think that he's like borderline all-star type of guy just because of what he can do on the court. And the shooting is a giant if. It's a really
Yes.
big one because like everybody loves to compare him to Ricky Rubio. Like Rubio never figured out a shot beyond a standstill three,
Yeah.
And he's a very impactful player. He was very helpful to the Jazz. He's been helpful to Cleveland. Not so much last year for the Wolves, but like it's the Wolves.
Hmm.
Um, I do think that there does become a tipping point where it's like Josh is going to be helpful. I think that that's already clear to be seen that he's going to be a helpful player, but can he be something beyond that is a big question, and it will all like his pivot point will be shooting. Like what is he? Is he good?
Yeah. Yeah, or you need to construct a different team around him, like a team that basically moves continuously,
Yeah,
and he will not be like. Uh, it's bad to go always back to the Warriors, but it's not
yeah,
that great that Draymond Green is shooting the basketball. Like he's just not. And I mean,
yeah.
I don't think that there is any difference between Draymond Green and Giddy in terms of shooting. I mean, they are right
No, no,
now, Giddy.
same stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
guys that can take a shot. If it's open, it may go in, but roughly. It's not a shot that you want to take necessarily. The point is, when you have elite shooters that can move around, and that is why I was talking about Trey Mann. And probably we're offline. We were discussing about shooting. You need to have someone that bends the defense with just movement.
Yeah.
If you give Giddy that guy, yeah, like even if he doesn't shoot the basketball, it's like you could already tell that in a span of a quarter, he was able to adjust to trapping a little bit more, like every single time. And it was like a Gobert trapping, not like the easiest one.
Yeah.
But you could see like trying to anticipate the move. But the problem is on the opposite corner there is either Lou Dort or there is Bazley.
Yeah.
Not great shooters. So the defense will not leave Giddy to close out on a corner three for Lou Dort. No for Bazley. Maybe once the pass is done, they will close out.
Yeah.
But before, no. On Bazley, they will not even bother to close out. They will just box out Giddy. So if you change this a little bit and you have Ty Jerome in that corner or Mike Muscala, you already see that the floor changes. And hey, those are average player in the league. I mean, Muscala, Kenrich, and Ty Jerome are nice player, but average player. Like, get a guy that is Joe Harris and put him there with Giddy.
Yeah.
And again, Joe Harris is a pretty good shooter, but he's not an elite. It's not Klay Thompson. We are not talking about Klay Thompson or Steph. Nice to have, of course. But give Giddy and Shea 1-2 very, very good shooters.
Yeah.
And you will see things changing, even if the shot, the gravity of the shot is not there for Giddy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's right. And the fact that Giddy can get downhill and find somebody too, like that. Draymond's more of like quarterbacking from the elbow type of stuff.
Yes.
What he's really good at, and setting screens, and like, I mean, he does. I mean, I love Draymond Green. Like, he's very, very good offensive player and not a great shooter. Giddy's different. Like, Giddy can score. Like, Giddy can go get his own bucket and is not afraid to do so. And he can get downhill. He can pass off the move. He can pass on the break. Like, he can do just so many things. And like, it's just, and it's hard. Like, he's so hard to talk about comps with, because like you want to try to give people a feel for what we're talking about. But like, Rubio's not a great comp for him. Draymond's not a great comp for him. Even like Ben Simmons is somebody people talk about. Like, Ben's not a good comp for him either.
No.
You know, because offensively, I mean, if Ben had the mindset of Josh, like, Ben is probably still playing in Philadelphia. He would have taken that dunk. He would have done a lot of things.
Oh yeah. Like, Giddy's not afraid.
Giddy is, and I love it.
Nor was Ben a couple of years ago. Something really happened with him.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
the guy.
He's never been. Josh has and we're going to see it more and more as we continue to go with Josh. Like, he's got like this attitude about him on the court where like he really does think he's like the man, and he's really, he does his best to fit in and really wants things to work. You know, I asked him after, I think I can't remember, was this Washington? No, it wasn't Washington. After maybe it was Washington. After the game, no, it wasn't. Sorry, it was after a game that Shea didn't play. Sorry, it's all running together for me. Shea was
Utah.
Against Utah, and I asked him, you know, is it easier for you to figure out, you know, where you're at, you know, without Shea out there, because you get to have the ball in like the closing moments of the game, and he's like, yeah, like, it's way easier for me to know where I'm at without him there. But he said I want to play with Shea for a long time, and like they wanted to
nice save, Josh.
Yeah.
Really nice save.
Hey, great media training, Matt. You guys you've done it. You did a good job. That was great. And Giddy, by the way, that's in a quick aside. Like, Giddy is like such a pro when it comes to like talking to the media. Like, he's not afraid in any situation. Like, he's comfortable, he's confident, he knows what to do. And some of that probably comes with like playing pro in Australia, and his parents being who they are, like his parents being like professional basketball players themselves. Like,
yeah,
you have to be ready for all of these things, you know. But anyways, Josh wants to fit in. with Shea and wants it to work and is doing whatever he can to make it work. It's just cool to see. Like, it's just
Yes.
cool to see a group they're all pulling on the same rope at the same time.
Yeah,
And
especially Shea, I would say.
especially Shea, and which is a huge deal because that's been the question all along. It's like, is Shea going to want to stick around for this? Is Shea going to be patient enough? Like, what? They're wasting Shea's career, yada yada yada. Like, Shea could be a star player. Like, if he were on Houston or something, I mean, he could average 28 points a game. Like, I have no
Yeah.
doubt about that. He would rather pull back a little bit and try to fit with this group because, like, he wants to win a title someday. Like, he wants to be
Yeah.
like one of the main focal points of a title winning team. And I think that Sam and his team are doing whatever they can to make that happen.
Yeah.
And I think that he is completely on board with what they want to do. And, like, wants Josh to get better. He wants Lou to get better. He wants Bazley to get better. Like, he wants all these guys to get better around him, and it shows, which is it's just a huge deal organizationally. The culture, I mean, the difference between them and Houston is dramatic. I mean, we haven't even touched on the John Wall stuff. I assume that Alex and I will talk about that Wednesday. But
Mhm.
like, I'm sure glad that we got to see the news, come across Twitter today about, Kemba not being in the rotation in New York and it not being something here, where it's like, you can't play, like, we can't play him here anymore, or like Kemba's mad that he's not going to get to play or whatever. Like, it's just nice to not have a mess like
Yeah.
that here. And that they did go through
Yeah,
it.
we paid a hefty. OKC paid a hefty price.
Yeah.
But
But it's better than having the media circus of the John Wall stuff.
yeah,
Like, if you
yeah.
ask you ask Sam, like, would you rather spend this much of your cap when you're still this much under, or would you rather have some sort of media circus, or even do the Horford thing again? Like, I think that this team is just like, we're not. I don't know that they feel this way or not. My guess would be that, and I would sit down and take a look at the situation and say, I don't want to do the Horford thing again. Like, I'm not gonna do that again. Like, that was having to explain that away and then have it being like, that's gonna stick with the team for a long time. The Horford thing. Like, it's gonna
Yeah.
stick with them for a while. It will be a touchstone that we go back in 5 years. If the Thunder are contending, we're gonna be like, remember when they just sent Al Horford home because they were just done with him? Like,
Yeah.
remember that? That's, and so you don't want to, like, you'd rather just go through with the buyout and kind of end the transaction,
Yeah.
carousel with that contract anyways. So, all right, Michele, anything else before we go?
Well, I'm just ready for the Christian Wood takeover tonight.
Let's do
That
it.
is
Come on, Christian. You can do this. You can beat this
Christian
team
Wood
again.
versus JRE, the matchup that we all anticipated to see
Right.
on November the 29th.
Oh man, maybe we even get to see some Dort Giant Dort tonight. And another great thing about this
Now,
team.
why do you have to make me sad thinking about favors?
No, I mean, it's just, to me, it's still just strange. Like, acknowledge the Dort Giant Dort Thunder. Acknowledge it. Do something on social media. Make a video. Like, do something. Like, you are wasting a valuable moment in Thunder history. You're just letting it go down the toilet. You're watching it go down the toilet, and I am really mad about it. Every time that I step into the arena and there is no Giant Dort video up on the Jumbotron, or even an acknowledgement tweet about the two, it is, you are wasting massive resources here that are just being, it's just right there in front of you. It's easy. Grab it, take it, run with it, please. All right. Hope you guys enjoy these Thunder games. Enjoy your week, and we will talk to you guys again next week. Make the shirt, Andrew. Yeah, we got to make the Giant Dort shirt. We could put that up on, Brandon Land, if you're listening. We got to make a Giant Dort t-shirt. Even if it's just for me. I don't care if anybody likes it. I'd wear the Giant Dort all the time. All right, let me go to the chat real quick. Okay, 2 minutes. John Murphy, Evan Christian, Chad Scott, the Fluky from Germany, Falk from Denmark, Dude Buffet, who's in his dad's house, Rod Gilman, Tommaso Ferrero, Nice Ike, Mike, Big Mike in Z is here, Wade Johnson 1, Alex Bullerjack is here, Brighton Schmidt, what's up, dude? Let's see, Blue Diamond Gem is here. David, Joe Mama is here. Andrew, when will we get the new intro? I'm workshopping some stuff right now. I'm hoping to have it, before Christmas at least. Jack Cole, Hoopsock 69, Augusto Sarmento is here. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of y'all's day. We'll talk again on Wednesday.